What's going on, guys? Welcome back. So today I actually just got in a case for review from Intermax, which means I've got to do some PC building. So I thought this would be a good time to show you guys how I do the cable management on my PC builds. Now, disclaimer, this ain't gonna come out looking like Singularity Computers or something like that, some boutique builder, but I have gotten some compliments on my cable management being pretty clean, so I'm just going to show you guys basically what I do when I am building a system, and hopefully everything comes out okay. Now, there is one thing to note, is that I've never actually built in the case that I'm going to be doing this with, so it may turn out bad, it may not, so make sure you stick around and watch if you guys want to learn how to cable manage your PCs the Jerry Neutron way. Now, when it comes to the actual case itself, there are a few things that you do want to look for in terms of making sure that your cable management is going to be on point. Kind of the things that I look for when I am deciding to buy a case or build in a case is where all of the rubber grommets, or basically like all of the cable management points, are. So usually a good case is going to have grommets at the top here for your 8-pin EPS connector, so you can route it through there at the top. You'll have at least one grommet down here at the bottom in order to route your front panel connectors, preferably two. So you can have one for like your HD audio on the far left here, and then your front panel connectors here. Most good cases will also have like 2 or 3 rubber grommets here, depending on how big they are, in order to route like your ATX cable, your PCIe cables, and SATA cables and stuff like that. This case actually does things a little bit differently in that it's got kind of a cutout to route cables through. I do prefer rubber grommets over this because usually with the rubber grommets, it hides the cables from showing, the cables in the back from showing through the front, which can kind of ruin the look of the case. So this one's a little bit different. Obviously, a basement like this is going to make a huge difference in terms of cable management and being able to hide those extra cables. This isn't a necessity, but it definitely is a good to have feature. So now, as far as the backside goes, the main thing that you're looking for is actually room to tuck your cables in. So if you've got a bit of room behind the motherboard tray to tuck your cables in, that's obviously a good thing. That means you can kind of pile up cables in more than one place, and it just makes things a little bit easier. Also, another good thing to have is cable tie points on a case, so somewhere you can actually tie down your cables in order to keep them in place. I also like when cases include Velcro straps. Sometimes the power supply manufacturer will provide those, but either or, those are nice. I definitely like to have those above like zip ties, which are usually a one-time use. Velcro straps, you can take them off and adjust them as much as you want. The same with twisty ties. So now we are going to be using cable extensions for this build, mainly just because they come with cable combs to keep everything nice and tidy. Don't really worry about the color. I know it's not exactly matching with this red CPU cooler that we have here, but that's not the point. This is just to show you guys basically what I do and make it a little bit easier to see. So one of the things that I like to do when I'm working with cable extensions is actually just plug them into the motherboard first before we actually install it into the case. Sometimes it's kind of hard to like press down on the ATX cable and stuff like that when it's in the case. So I like to do it outside and then move everything to the case once I'm actually ready to do that. So that's exactly what we're gonna do now. So we'll just pop in this 24-pin connector here. And then we're just gonna do the EPS, or the 8-pin CPU connector after that. All right, and now let's go ahead and plug in that 8-pin connector here. There we go. All right, so now that that's out of the way, we'll just go ahead and install the motherboard into the case. We'll worry about the cable combs as like one of the last steps. So yeah, let's go ahead and put this thing in. All right, motherboard is in. So now what you want to do is actually connect all of the cables that you need to your power supply. This is of course assuming you have a modular power supply, which you probably should. So they've all connected here. So we're gonna go ahead and install this, and then we will start routing the cables. First thing what we're going to do is just route the cables or the extension pieces through their respective grommet holes or wherever they're supposed to be routed. So in this case, the EPS 8 pin, we're just going to throw back here. And then the 24 pin, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. Although there is no rubber grommets here, we just route it through a little space back here. And kind of the idea is just to get the cables how you want it to look on this side, and then worry about managing the back side of the case. So now what I'm going to do is start routing the front panel connectors. So we're just going to get all these organized into their proper sections. For example, this is for the fan controller. We've got our actual front panel connectors here, and then our USB and HD audio. So we'll just kind of group these together, start routing them to the front. So now that the cables are running their rough direction, we can start to kind of group them together and start to just tie them up. So we can add Velcro straps or twisty ties, whatever you have available, and we're just gonna kind of tie them together. And hopefully, if everything goes okay, they should sit behind like our 24 pin cable, which may be a little bit difficult to route because we've got an extension piece, which is going to make it a little bit longer than normal. And as you can see here, it's kind of starting to come together. And we'll just add those in here. Velcro straps would be a lot better. I forgot the power supply that I'm using doesn't actually come with any. In this case, I'll only give you 2. Not sure what the hell you're supposed to do with them, but whatever, this is what we're working with. Should still be able to get the job done. So those are there. So when we pull away the remaining cables, we can kind of see here how it's starting to turn out. We've got everything pretty much where we want it at this point. The last thing that we do is add in the graphics card and run the PCIe cable. Then we can make the final adjustments to the cable management in the back. This is where we're at so far. Just need some final touch-ups. And she's done. I'll be honest, this didn't really come out the way I envisioned. This case is not really that great for cable management. There's only one area that you can kind of tuck away your cables, so I did the best I could though. I think it looks alright, but I don't know, I kind of envisioned better, but oh well. I think you guys get the picture. Everything's basically tucked away here. I just tucked all the excess cables in right in front of the power supply there, so that's a good thing about having a basement. But yeah, it just sucks that only the left side of the back panel here, you can really tuck your cables away. That's kind of the side effect of having just that opening to route cables through rather than having rubber grommets. So here's a look at the finished main compartment. You can see you got the cable combs ran. That allows you to, you know, kind of straighten out the cables, make sure they are running in a uniform pattern, I guess you could say. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good in the main compartment here. So fortunately the back is not the greatest, but up front here I think it looks pretty clean. Just a stupid area right here, I guess, is for like, you can fit fans here, or like, I don't know, maybe a radiator or something like that. I don't know, but I don't like it because it's open. You can see the back, you can see my stupid cables there. I'm just not a fan of that particular setup, but otherwise I think I did pretty good in the main compartment here. Pretty clean. You can see the front panel connectors there down at the bottom, barely any cables showing. That's how we like it. And yeah guys, that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to show you today. I will be back tomorrow, probably gonna be reviewing this case or maybe something else, but I will see you guys then. Make sure you like this video if you like this type of content. Until next time, see ya.